Hello, October 8th, 2023. I am at Medfield State Hospital. And this is October, and it's almost, Halloween will be soon. So I'm going to walk this mental hospital, a state hospital that is now vacant. It was built in 1896 and has 58 buildings. So this is also, just throwing that out there, this is also where the movie Shutter Island with Leonardo DiCaprio was filmed in 2010. If you haven't seen the movie, I would put it on. I would watch it. It was a good movie, especially at the end. I mean, it was, wow. It was a good movie, so you should probably take a look at it. And that's where it was filmed here, in this now vacant mental hospital, which was shut down in 2003. So that's what today's adventure is going to be. So I'm going to start walking around. There's not much places to park here. As I'm looking around, there's not many parking spaces. There's like 4 cars here, and I think you might be able to fit 2 more in, and if somebody parks behind you, you're really in trouble because you're not getting out. So with that being said, I'm on my way. I'll see you out there. Okay, so what we're about to see now is a building that's right on the edge of the property, almost leaving the property. So I'm going to assume that this building, because it's a pretty nice looking house, I'm going to assume that this building that I'm going to show you here was probably the head of Medfield State Hospital. This building was probably where he lived, because they usually gave these guys that were head of state hospitals like this a house on the grounds to live in. So I'm going to assume this is the building, because it's pretty nice. You can picture it if it was back in the day. It would be a beautiful building, and you'd probably want to live here. So I'm just going to take a quick gander. You can't get inside, it's boarded up. So here's that building. As you can see, it's pretty nice. And this is where they would usually give the head of this state hospital. They'll let them live here. This is a pretty woodsy area too. Oh God, this is, whoa, almost slipped. Little garage out here. This is the back of the building. Hazardous conditions exist. Entry into the building is prohibited. Okay. Oh, Medfield Police still has something here. But this is the building. Not bad. Not bad at all. You know, there's a lot of houses on the property. I have to assume that's for the staff. But there's a lot of houses, and some of them are pretty nice. Like that one. And again, Shutter Island was filmed here in 2010 with Leonardo DiCaprio. And this is one of the buildings they filmed at. If you want to place that, if you want to watch that movie, that was pretty good. With Leonardo DiCaprio, Shutter Island. I love that movie. And this is where they filmed it. This is where they filmed Shutter Island. Leonardo DiCaprio came all the way here. He was stepping on the same path I'm on right now, Leonardo DiCaprio. So all you Leonardo DiCaprio fans, this is where they filmed Shutter Island in 2010, Medfield State Hospital. This place has been here for a long time. And it is, originally, when they first built this, there was 900 acres. That's a lot of acres. Here it is, the old Medfield State Hospital. They only shot it in 2003, so that's why they still have that water tank, and it looks fairly new. A couple of other movies they filmed here. The New Mutants in 2020. I've never watched that movie. Macy Williams starred in it. And then I remember they did film a movie called The Box with Cameron Diaz. That was in 2009. A lot of people with dogs. Look at all the dogs. This is like a dog park. This is a creepy place, though. I mean, the kids must run rampant here at night, although I don't see any graffiti. But this is history right here. I mean, at the height of its glory, there were 900 people that worked here. 900 people worked. There's an old bell tower. I love those. Look at that. 9,000 people worked at this hospital. 900 acres of land. 900 people worked here. There were 2,300 patients. 2,300 patients were here. Oh, Mr. Crow. This place is massive. It was the first asylum in the state, first mental asylum in the state of Massachusetts to be built on the cottage plan, with individual buildings allowing for better light and ventilation in order to make living conditions more home-like. The sleeping quarters were on the second floor and the sitting rooms were on the ground floor. I have never in my life seen this many dogs. This is incredible, though. What history. These buildings were built in 1896. It's a beautiful area. Nice brisk fall day. All boarded up. I wonder if they're ever going to do anything with these buildings. They should do something. I mean, they still look like they're in decent shape. You can take a look at them. Yeah, they also had, not only is this place very, very creepy, but it's nice to see, ooh, sunny, that they had basketball courts for the residents here. There's your basketball courts. Tell you what, if I was still a kid, if I was still a teenager, I'd be up here playing basketball with my buddies, which I think they still are, which I think they do, because as you can see, that net is new. That's not an old net. I mean, the rim itself is, the court, but that net, somebody just put that up. That's a fairly new net. So let me see, what other creepy buildings are there? Oh, there's plenty of them. There's one over there. Yeah, these buildings, 58 buildings, 900 acres. I guess they used it at something at one point. I mean, they didn't anymore because that red diver down type sign tells the fire department that nobody is in this building, that it's vacant. And this used to be vocational services, progressive work center, garden center, ceramic shop, work crew, janitorial services. Well, I don't know if that was just the people who worked here or whether that was some type of a school for the people that were here. It's still beautiful here. Excuse me. Froggy throat. Now this sign is kind of a sad sign. It's probably for the people that lived here. Because some of the people here that had mental illness were here for a very long time. So take a look at this sign. Remember us. So we too have lived, loved, and laughed. It's kind of sad that they get locked away here, and sometimes for years, and people forget about them. They just stash them away in these mental health facilities, like this one back in the 1800s. They just put them in here and they forget about them. It's actually a beautiful sign. Remember us. Because they're human beings too. They're human beings too. And it was a shame, a lot of them just got locked up here and they just forgot about them. They just existed. Pretty soon these leaves will be changing. They'll be all different colors. I'll have to come here when the leaves change. It's a little too early in October. It's only the first week. This is when you know a lot of people use this place to walk around. You have porta potties and places to wash your hands. So they must get a lot of people here. This is history though, imagine. I mean, look at how they built these buildings back then in the mid 1800s, late 1800s. They know how to build a building. I mean, look at this granite. I mean, these buildings will be here long after I'm gone. Yeah, this is history right here. You got the clock tower building. I want to see what's over here. Looks like some type of a view. I remember this building being in Shutter Island. This building right here. I remember Leonardo DiCaprio coming out of this building here. This was like the headquarters or something. But I remember him coming out of this. It's funny how I remember this building. It does look like a main building too. This must have been quite the busy place with 900 people working here and almost 3,000 residents. This is a loading dock. Looks like the trucks would come up here. I mean, don't forget, this place didn't shut until 2003. So that isn't that long ago. 2003, 20 years ago. That isn't that long. So this is where they would this guy's in quite a rush. So they do have some really beautiful buildings here. And they know how to build them back in the day. But a lot of these buildings, they're really beautiful. And they're just old. But they really should do something with this property. I mean, this is 900 acres, 58 buildings. They're just sitting here vacant. I mean, it's a nice park to walk around in. But they should do something. Like, take a look at this building. This is pretty nice. I mean, really. I mean, look at it. The design, the architecture. Look at that. That's nice. What is this? A fresh cup of tea waiting for too long. Alas, it's gone cold. Okay. Oh, it's a poetry project. Okay. All right, I got it. All right. So even if you were living here in the 60s, you were most likely, depending on how old you are, you probably passed away here. I'm going to go up into that clock tower, take a look at it. Be right back. Well, there was something here. Maybe a little shed or something. There's a little ramp. And you would come up on here. So it looks like there was something here. Not anymore. Well, at least people utilize it to walk their dogs. And they can walk them without a leash. I don't know how safe that is, but anybody want to go to the pumpkin patch October 1st to the 31st? That's the corner of Miller and Main. Please take a book. Drop off a book. Geez, look at the time. It's getting late. Oh, wait a minute. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to go up there. Okay, so they are doing something. The Future Performing Arts Center. Bell Forge Arts Center. Little history about Medfield State Hospital. Hospital camp was first a facility redesigned in a cottage style. Yep. Back in the day, there was 1,000 cattle and 3,000 chickens. Patients worked on the farm. Well, that's good. Supplying food for all the state hospitals in eastern Massachusetts. During World War II, the campus housed nearly 2,300 people, more than the population of Medfield itself at the time. In the 60s, under the leadership of Dr. Harold Lee, MSH gained a national reputation for its innovative rehabilitation program for patients. Independent living situations on campus were combined with intensive vocational work training for patients to increase skills and potentially return to society. That's nice. Good. The entire community used the chapel for religious services, dances, movies, and a gymnasium. Awesome. So this was really utilized back in the day. Nice. Beautiful. Good. I'm glad they treated the people well here. I think they did. I do. You know, maybe not so much in the late 1800s, early 1900s, But I think during, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, I think they treated them well here. That's beautiful. Yeah, losing that building to nature. Okay, I'm looking for my car. I'm not having much luck. This is a big place. I traveled a lot in here. Now I have to find out where I park because I have absolutely no clue where I am. All these buildings kind of look the same. All right, I'll get back to you when I find my car. Great. All right, I think I found my car. I think. So, I think it's down there. I see a few cars down there, so hopefully that's it. I think it's some beautiful old homes here. I mean, this thing's falling apart. Look at it right here. That's big. That's a big house. I mean, that's nice. Look at 2 chimneys. That's a beautiful home. I don't know if the patients lived in there. Maybe. But that's a beautiful house. And I don't know, they should have rehabbed it. That thing's beautiful. Nice area. I'm glad I came here. I had the day. So, I mean, you can see the area all around. I mean, I know you got the sun in your eyes. The sun glare on the camera. But it is really nice, the whole area. So if you're local and you happen to see my channel and you come down to Medfield State Hospital, it was closed in 2003, built in the mid 1800s, 1862 I think I said. Bring your dogs. I let them off the leash. There's plenty of land and it's really a beautiful, beautiful area. I can imagine these trees will all be turning different colors. So I think I'm going to come back down here when the leaves turn. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll come back here and I'll document the leaves. It should be beautiful at this time of year. A little bit later on, maybe towards the end of the month, we'll start to see the leaves turn. Okay, I might make one more stop. So I'll see you in a bit. Hello! So I'm at the Sam Adams Brewery in Jamaica Plain, Mass. And the sun's in my eyes, so I have to squint. But I am about to take the tour into the Sam Adams Brewery to see how Sam Adams is brewed. They also give you some free beer. So with that being said, I am going to go into the brewery and see how not only did Jim Koch start his brewery, but how his beer is brewed. So with that being said, I will see you in a minute in the gift shop, because that's where they sell the tickets.
Generation brewer. As a kid, he watches his dad work in a kind of failing Pennsylvania brewery, so he thinks twice about the beer industry, comes out to Boston, and he's a wicked smart kid, so he graduates Harvard, does the whole 9 yards, and then goes into mechanical consulting for a few years, which in his words is, quote, as boring as that sounds. So when he's around my age, he has a change of heart and wants to learn about the beer business after all. So he talks to Dad, Dad takes him up to the family attic, and they flip through old family beer recipes passed down through the generations. Jim finds one from his great-great-grandfather, brews that up in his kitchen, thinks it's the best beer he's ever had. Shows it to his friends, they think it's the best beer they've ever had. They say, you got something really special. So he takes it to America's biggest beer competition, the Great American Beer Fest in Denver, Colorado. And 6 weeks after he brewed this Boston lager in his kitchen for the first time, it wins #1 beer in America, before he even had a company. So he knew he had something real special on hand, so he puts together the Boston Beer Company, calls this the Boston Lager, and starts grassroots marketing the Boston Lager, quite literally as grassroots as you can get. He just walks around downtown with a briefcase full of beer. He just goes into bars, pubs, restaurants, and says, "Hi, where's the manager? Can I talk to you about your budget? When do you buy alcohol? Can I give you some of my Boston Lager?" Really starts to take off. People love it. Soon enough, he can't keep up with the demand anymore. He's got to find a new way to supply. So he settles down right here. This original Boston brewery was once the Hafenreffer Brewery. So when you look around, you can tell this place is definitely not from the mid-'80s. It's way, way older. This building's 150 years old. This was built in 1870 by the Hafenreffer Brewers. And not only do we owe it to them that this building was built, but also the fact that it's still standing, because you don't see a lot of pre-Prohibition breweries in America. The fact that they're still alive is because during Prohibition, Hafenreffer really led the charge on creating an early version of non-alcoholic beer. So they were able to keep buying and producing their ingredients, but without the alcohol. That kept them alive for a while. Not until the end of Prohibition, though. Once Prohibition gets repealed, you can get legally boozed up again. Nobody is buying that. Hafenreffer kind of falls apart. The unfortunate thing is that's actually a really common story among all American brewers. Prior to Prohibition, the American beer market looked a lot more like it does in Europe. It was all craft brewers. There weren't large companies. Pretty much everybody was some European immigrant family who'd come over, brought their unique beer recipe, their beer style, and they brewed for their small pocket of America. If your questions, I got the beer answer. So on that note, you guys are in the tasting room now. Welcome. You made it here in one piece. This is the place that Yelp and TripAdvisor says is your favorite part of the brewery tour. Probably because you get to sit down, you get 2 more beers. So the first of the 2 beers is going to be Boston Lager. That's what I've been drinking. I'm going to pass that out to you guys. You're going to fill up your glasses, pass it down, because we're going to do a beer appraisal. Beer appraisal is something that beer experts like me and Jacob do all the time to go through the notes of beer. It's like the same thing as a wine tasting, just not pretentious. So what I'm going to do is pass these out, and like I said, fill it up, make sure everybody gets some beer in their glass, and you will need beer in your glass for every stage of this, so please don't try to just knock it back immediately. That's not going to impress anybody. That's a 5-ounce glass, and I went to college. So before I pass these out, I have to say the ground rules that I wish I didn't have to say, but these are based on real things that grown adults have done on the store. So rule number 1, don't drink directly out of the pitcher. It's not your personal pitcher. Number 2, this is my personal favorite. If you don't like, no, I'm going to say that one for last. I'm going to work up to that one. But my personal favorite is if you need beer in your glass, pour it into your glass. Don't get into the pitcher like a prawn bowl. Number 3, if you brought any like original ingredients with you in your pockets or purses, don't pull out any berries or fruits and put them in here. We're done with the beer. All the ingredients are in it. And now here's the one that you guys have been waiting for. If you don't like the beer, don't spit it back into the pitcher. That happened one time last year. Some guy got a very foamy pitcher. Why was it foamy? His neighbor spit into it. Can I trust you to not be that guy? Yeah. All right, I believe you. I'm going to pass this out. We're going to touch the beer. The beer's going to touch us back. Yeah. Hearing is correct. Listening to your beer was a Saturday night activity. I did plenty of that last night. If you're hearing your beer at this point, you've had way too much. You've got to dial it back. I don't think anyone's going to be hearing their beer at 1:30 on Sunday. So I trust most of you guys. Those are filling up. It looks like almost everybody's got their beer. Does anybody not have a pitcher yet? I think there's just about 1 or 2 glasses. So as you guys are getting that pitcher, we're going to just start with our eyes first. And as that last glass gets filled up, everybody just raise a glass and let's have a toast. Cheers, guys. Cheers. And now that that's fresh in your muscle memory, do that movement one more time. Raise that glass up, let the light come through it, and call out what kind of colors you are seeing in this beer. Golden amber. Golden amber. Thank you for watching the commercials. I like amber. I like gold. There's another word that we love to describe this as. Starts with a C. Caramel. Caramel. I don't discriminate. So those are the top 3 words we like to describe it with. The founder, like I said, Jim Cook. He has the best description of this beer. He's pictured right up there. Also, despite the vibes of this corner, he's not dead. That's not a memorial. He's just totally fine. I don't know why they put that black and white one up there, but Jim Cook always says that the hue of Boston Lager is like looking through 1,000 burning candle flames, which is so poetic. So, he had a few of these when he wrote that. The reason that we get that kind of nice amber color is because I mentioned you can bake the grain to different degrees. The amber color in this comes from Caramel 60. So this is a medium roasted grain. So you can see right here we have sort of a scale, and this falls right in the middle, 6B noting its place on the roasted scale. The rest of this beer is pale malt. This is pretty much unroasted grain. This is what most beer in the world is made out of. This is what's going to give you a sort of yellowy, golden color beer. And the more you roast it, the more it gets browner, redder, and then black. So if you go fully all the way down the scale, you get something like this. This is chocolate malt, and unfortunately it doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes more like grape nuts if you're eating it straight, if you're old enough to get that reference. Also, this is the kind of grain that you're going to use to make black beer, so like your porters or stouts. Do any fans of those in the audience? There we go. Thank you. The rest of you grow up. So the longer you bake a grain, the more you bake out the sugar. So an unroasted grain like pale malt is going to have more sugar and therefore more alcohol. So that makes this the most popular grain. It's cheaper and more bang for your buck. But the other thing about dark grain here is because it's so roasted, if you made a beer entirely out of this grain, it would only cap at like 2% ABV. So the only reason you've seen dark beers more than 2% is because actually most of those beers are this. A lot of your favorite dark beers, your porters and stouts, are a lot of pale malt being used to pump up that sugar, pump up that ABV, and then they use the black grain as a finisher to give it a black body and more of a coffee flavor that we all know and love. And that's not like a dirty little secret of the brewing industry. It's just that a little bit of roasting goes a very long way. And just to prove that, 90% of this beer in front of you is pale malt. Only 10% is that caramel 60. So look how far that 10% went to turn it from like a light yellow Corona to more of a dark amber lager like this. So that's the rundown on grain. I'm gonna have you guys do one more visual experiment with me. Hold up that beer in front of your eyes. Put 2 fingers behind the glass like so, and give them a little wiggle wiggle. What do you see?
Fingers.
Fingers! Correct! Beer tour, no hard questions. So, you're seeing 2 fingers, and why is that? It's because it's a fully transparent beer. In the brewing world, that's called fully filtered. It means you filtered out every protein or solid in this liquid that doesn't contribute to flavor. We drank this as a medium body. This is a light body. It's more of a sessionable beer, we like to say, or in the US, we say a lawnmower beer. So, the hops you're going to have are actually those New Zealand hops that I mentioned earlier. They're going to give you sort of a white wine grape character, as we like to describe, but it's one of those things you have to taste it kind of looks like. So I'm going to pass these out, and you get to enjoy this at your own speed, in your own way. Feel free to even do your own appraisal if you'd like. But I'm now through talking about the Boston Lager, through talking about anything I got to talk about. It's your floor now.
And that's the end of the tour.
Make it on yours. Do you want to go to the bathroom and come back to your report?
Sorry, that was a pretty good tour. All right. So that was the Sam Adams Brewery tour. They give you free beer. So if you're ever in Boston and you want a free beer, you go to the Sam Adams Brewery and you get yourself some free beer and a tour, and it was pretty interesting. With that being said, have a good day. Vlog is over. Let's take one more look at this brewery.